Hello and welcome to Would You Rather. I'm davidinark. We are going old school in celebration of 8,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. I cannot believe we've hit 8,000 subscribers. That is phenomenal. And it's all you guys. I mean, I have nothing to do with that. I'm glad that you enjoy coming out to the channel, seeing what we got going on, and hopefully enjoying the content or watching this crazy old man do whatever it is he's gonna do. So there's that. But thank you so much for helping us reach 8,000 subscribers. Man, that is awesome. If you've been around for a while, you probably have picked up on a little bit of raspiness in my voice. The weather's been a little weird around here, so it happens. So that's what's going on. I'm going to attempt to do some Would You Rather, and I'll edit out any of the, weird coughing and hacking or whatever else goes on with my voice. If you're new here, welcome to the show. This is what you signed up for. Okay, so if you're not familiar with Would You Rather, this is actually a website called either.io, and basically you're presented with choices that you got to make. So that's what we're doing. We're going to make some choices. I'm going to make the choice that I would want to make. We'll see what other people picked, and then we'll kind of talk about it. Actually, mostly we talk about it beforehand, but by all means, for any of these, if one of them or several of them hit your fancy, let me know down in the comments section below. What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? What would you have picked? I love to get that conversation rolling. So the first one we're going to start off with is, would you rather only eat breakfast cereal or only eat pasta? You are free to experiment for each, but the meal must be based on the chosen food. I don't even know what that means. How do you experiment with cereal or pasta, but the meal must be, I don't know. I don't know what that means. Let's just stick with let's stick with what we have. All right. So, I don't even know. I want to know down in the comments, how many of you actually still eat breakfast cereal? My understanding is that cereal has fallen way out of favor, especially with younger folks. Now, I love cereal. I'm a cereal junkie, man. And I eat cereal for breakfast probably 3 or 4 times a week. Basically, if I eat breakfast, I don't generally eat breakfast, but anyhow, between the two of these though, I am a pastaholic. In fact, if my kids happen to be watching this, they already know I'm picking eat pasta because that's where I'm going. I love all pasta. Now I'm a red sauce kind of person. I do not. I guess I shouldn't say I love all pasta. I am not a Alfredo or a white cheese kind of person. Not at all. I'm not a creamy cheese kind of person. I am definitely a red sauce marinara in my pasta, but I would only eat pasta for the rest of my life if that's what I had to do. And it looks like 59% folks would eat pasta only. So that's a pretty good split. I mean, that's not a 50-50. That's more people heading to pasta. Let's move on. All right. Would you rather never understand the concept of time or never understand the concept of sex? Well, it's a little hard for me now because I've got 2 kids and I definitely understand the concept. So I guess, let's see. You will not be able to tell time or anything related to time, and you never understand the other. I'm going to guess, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to guess what I think most people are going to pick. For me, again, I've already got 2 kids. So from this point on, if I never understood the concept, I guess I'd be confused as to how I had kids. But really, in the scheme of things, for me at this point, who cares? I actually believe most people are going to pick this. Now, I'm probably very wrong the more I talk this out, because I'm going to guess, I don't know the statistics for, Would You Rather, but I'm going to guess it is mostly played by guys, and probably teenage guys. And between the two of these, I'm going to guess that most teenage guys are not going to pick the red one. They're going to pick understanding time. I'm going to go ahead and pick time, assuming that most teenage guys are also going to pick that. 70-30. You got to think. I got to get back into that mode. Because when I was a teenager, there are certain things that teenage boys think about a lot. And pasta, food, the first question, and then here on this question. So let's just move along, shall we? All right. Would you rather fall 2 stories onto concrete or fall 2 stories into freezing water? Now, the sub thing here says, break your bones or risk freezing to death. Here's the kicker. I can't remember what the actual height is, but if you fall from a certain height and you hit water, it is the equivalent of hitting concrete. So even though this says, would you like to break your bones falling 2 stories onto concrete or fall 2 stories into freezing water, the idea being that you wouldn't, that the fall wouldn't kill you, but that the fact you were in freezing water was going to kill you. I guess either way you're dead. I don't understand. I don't understand these questions where you die in them. Basically, this is like, how would you rather die? Okay, well, now here's the other thing. Actually, and it doesn't say you would die. You would break some bones falling 2 stories, or you would risk freezing to death, not necessarily freeze to death. Between the two of these, it doesn't say where the water is. So it's, am I falling like in the middle of an ocean and there's nothing around me? Or am I falling like into a pool and I could get to the edge, or even, a frozen lake? It leaves so much, so there's so much open there. I think between the two, I would probably rather fall into freezing water, because I don't know if you've ever seen any of those videos of people talking about what to do should you fall into like a frozen pond where the ice breaks. But there are definitely things you can do to help calm yourself, relax, get yourself spread out as flat as you can to help pull yourself through that. Whereas, if you fall 2 stories on the concrete, although there are certainly stories of people who have fallen 2 stories and basically walked away, I think I would rather fall into freezing water. And wow, 82% of respondents, look at that, over 1 million people would much rather fall into freezing water. So I totally get that. I am right there with you. Next up, brother, would you rather read the Iliad or the Odyssey? Now, having been around life as long as I have, you would think that somewhere in high school or my undergrad years or my graduate years working on my master's that I would have read either and or both of these books, but I never had to. Weirdly, we moved around a lot when I was in high school, so I never really stayed at the same high school for very long. So about the time reading assignments were handed out, I just picked the same book that I read at the other school because who's going to know? So I read Great Expectations many, many times. And then in college, I just don't remember taking any classes where either of these books were part of the curriculum. So I know very little about either one of them, to be perfectly blunt. I have heard of them both. I don't really, again, I don't know much about either one. Is it a 50-50? I don't know. I'm guessing I'm going to pick Odyssey. Well, most people would rather read the Odyssey. I wonder if that is just because the Odyssey, I believe, is probably more well-known than the Iliad. And in fact, I would guess that a lot of folks may not even realize that the Iliad and the Odyssey are 2 separate books. So I'm good with that. Moving on. Would you rather have first dibs every time? First dibs. Do people still say dibs? Wow. Okay. Or always have the last laugh. So this is a first or last kind of thing. So would you rather have first dibs or the last laugh? It's a little weird. Having first dibs all the time almost sounds selfish, right? Because you would always get, if you're not familiar with dibs, basically if you call dibs on something, that means you get it. You're the first. You are laying claim to whatever this is. So if there's a plate of cupcakes sitting in front of you and you call dibs, that means you get to pick the first cupcake. Okay. So, or if you're if you're going somewhere and there's a certain seating arrangement and you call dibs on a particular seat, that's your seat. All right. Having the last laugh, meaning that you get to sort of get your little jab in no matter what's going on. You kind of get the last say. You always come out on top, basically, in a way. That's kind of what that's saying. So one is kind of selfish, and the other is sort of just kind of potentially mean. I don't know. Having the last laugh. I think I'm going to go with. I think I'm going to go with the last laugh. Yeah, I'm going to go with the last laugh. Wow. 45-55, that's a nearly half split. I could see that. That one's sort of a toss-up, kind of hard to say, which one of those do you really want? I mean, kind of neither, but you got to pick one. So, there you go. All right, let's do one more. Would you rather? Would you rather swear in every sentence forever or constantly have your hand down your trousers? Why are we ending on this one? Okay, well, I know several of you out there are probably thinking, listen, old man, you probably already got your hand down your trousers as it is. I'm not one of those people. I am not one of those folks who likes to, kick back on the couch and stick your hand down your... No. It's not... Ugh, gives me the willies. I also would prefer not to swear in every sentence forever. Those of you that have been around the channel, I try to keep the channel as clean as I can, just family friendly. And I totally understand that even the term family friendly has its own caveats to it, right? What's friendly for my family is not necessarily the same friendly for yours. I totally get that. But I would tell you, if I had to pick between the two of these, I would, and it doesn't say they have to be, super ugly swear words, which I know it's weird that there are degrees of swear words. But I'm thinking that I would probably rather swear in every sentence than to constantly have my hand in my pants. That's just... You talk about inappropriate. To me, having your hand in your pants all the time is way more inappropriate. Sorry, I got the hiccups. Way more inappropriate than swearing every other sentence. I mean, heck, I know people who swear in every sentence or close to every sentence, and eventually, although it's kind of shocking at first, it's kind of jarring. Honestly, after a while, you forget they're even swearing. At least I do, for those folks that are doing that. So I would rather swear, which I know is such a weird thing for me to say with this channel, but look at that. Most people would rather swear than have their hand in their pants all the time. Okay, I'm not ending on this one. There's no way. We're going to keep going. Okay. All right. Would you rather be punched by, I have no idea how to say that, Saitama from One Punch Man, or face the Penance stare by Ghost Rider? I do have an idea of as what these are. I mean, I've seen Ghost Rider, and I understand what One Punch Man is. So which one would I rather do? Well, I would tell you, if Ghost Rider is Nicolas Cage, I'll take the Penance stare, just because I think Nick Cage is such a cool cat, man. I'll take it. If that's how I gotta go, that's how I gotta go. You know what I'm saying? The One Punch Man, it's a punch. I'd rather have to face the stare. I just think that is much more dramatic, and it would just, of course, I would have no idea, because when he's a flame, you have no idea what his face is. But just the Ghost Rider riding up and forcing you to have the penance stare. I'll take the penance stare. So there you go. Ooh, look at there. 61%. What's funny is, look at this. There's only 329,000 people that even bothered to answer this question. Some questions we've seen millions of people have answered, and other questions just a couple 100,000. That's kind of interesting in itself. I probably should have paid more attention to the numbers themselves. But anyhow, I don't know. There you go. Would you rather? What do you think? Which of these appealed to you? Which ones did you really struggle with? Or which ones were like no-brainer, piece of cake, I know exactly what I'd pick? Let me know down in the comment section below. Got any other questions, problems, suggestions, horror stories? Feel free to leave those down in the comment section as well. Again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for 8,000 subscribers. That's just phenomenal. It is so awesome, and I can't believe when I first started the channel, first started to upload content. For those of you that don't know the history, allow me to give you a little history of the channel. I actually started the channel as a result of two different things that kind of converged at the same time. One, my son was starting to talk about these folks that were playing games on YouTube and recording screens. And so we were playing around with different screen recording software and trying to figure out how that works. And of course, that was the early days of YouTube. And in those days, especially, my internet's bad as it is, but in those days it was really bad. And so it was trying to figure out, how do you record? How do you, I already been doing some editing in those days, and by the way, when I say those days, I first started messing around with YouTube when it first came out, but I didn't really do anything with it. So it wasn't really until 2016, I think, where I really started to upload content. But I had plenty of experience editing videos. I used to shoot wedding videos and make some corporate videos and training videos, that kind of thing. So I had already had some experience with video editing, but not necessarily putting all of these pieces and parts together. And then about that same time, my nephew, for all intents and purposes, dared me to create a gaming YouTube channel. And, I'm the uncle, so I'm going to take the dare. And I did. And here we are several years later, and we've got 8,000 subs. And it blows me away. It is such a cool thing. And I have so much fun. Who would have thought, I was going to play the games anyway. So all I'm really doing is playing the games and recording them and sharing them with you, sharing my experiences, my what little expertise I have in things, creating some tutorials, just experimenting, playing along. And I'm so glad that you are coming along for the ride. So again, thank you so much for everyone who has contributed to being a part of the 8,000 plus that we've got here on the channel. Thank you so much. Special thanks to Hero of God, my very first patron. Thank you so much. We've definitely got to get together and do some multiplayer. In fact, one of the things that I want to do in the next definitely this year is get some multiplayer going where I can play with you guys and we just get in and, I don't know, mess around with whatever. BeamNG, Wreckfest, GTA, I don't know, we'll figure it out. But maybe some Among Us. But anyhow, thank you so much to Hero of God. Special thanks to GamerGull, who is one of the coolest developers, mod developers for BeamNG, and who actually now works for BeamNG because of his incredible mod making prowess. But thank you so much for jumping in and becoming one of my patrons to support mostly the BeamNG stuff, but to support all the stuff we do here. And then thank you to LosWilko for supporting me on Patreon. I appreciate that so much. And I I definitely want to thank Mr. Spooky7, who was one of my patrons for a while, and life happens, things go on, but I want to thank you for supporting me as long as you were able to support me on the channel, and I appreciate that so much. And a special thanks to all of you that are part of the Dollar Club, and that's your support helps. All those dollars add up to help support the channel, allow me to get new games, to upgrade equipment, those types of things. So again, thank you so much, and thanks to all of you for watching. I appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.